So tonight is a little different. I do not have a poem. Instead, I have just like not a story, but just like a topic I want to talk about. Um, I didn't take the poem format for this just because I wanted to incorporate like one of a story I have into it, and just with like the poetry format, I didn't see how it could work. I tried, I struggled, I gave up, and I adapted. I moved on. This is what I'm gonna do. So I want to talk about energy because I feel like so many of us tend to lean more towards concrete ideas. Um, I think we all find it easier to accept what we can actually see. This this is like a topic that branches beyond just like energy itself. Um, you've probably all noticed it with all the social justice issues um, that are coming to light now because of social media. Back when social media was not a thing, like things were kind of just getting overlooked, but now that there are eyes on them, it's like they're coming to light. People are actually doing things about them. I'm not here to talk about that though, at least not tonight. Like I said, I want to talk about energy because I think that it's often overlooked. I'm not super educated in this field, but if I recall correctly, everything in this universe at its core is just a bunch of vibrations all moving at different frequencies. The way I see it, um, that kind of means like we're all just like energy under this one blanket. A lot of us tend to look out the window and not see it that way. You look at the tree that's right there outside from your window and you're like, oh, that's a tree. I'm a human. We're separate beings. But in the bigger picture, like, if everything is just vibrations, how different is everything really? Um, like I said, I'm not too well educated in that stuff, so I don't want to like get too deep into it. If this sounds interesting to you, I really do suggest like you take the time to do some research. I'll definitely do some more research and maybe we can have a conversation. That'd be dope. Um, if it seems more like bullshit, then like that's okay. I'm not mad. To each their own. Just a heads up, you probably don't want to watch the rest of this video. It'll probably be a waste of your time. I don't think it's going to change anything about your outlook on what you believe in. Um, so with all that out the way, um, I want to talk about my surgery. I know I've talked about it a lot, just like through poems and overall, just in general. Like you guys seen the post. You guys have seen the post. um, but I really do think it's like a really beautiful story. The start of a really beautiful story. Um, and I'm not sure how many of you realize like the outcomes for what I went through. They were either I was gonna die or not the out. I should say the more probable outcomes. The more probable outcomes were that I was gonna die, or that I was going to recover, but it would just be at a fraction of the person I once was. With brain surgery, it's just like super. That's a lot of uncertainty. Um, so yeah, like I was just blessed to have really good doctors, but on top of that, I had a lot of really good people in my corner. I had a bunch of people just rooting for me, rooting for me, rooting for me nonstop to just like make that full recovery, get back to where I was, be even better than what I was before, and just like grow from this. Don't see it as like a setback. See it as, oh, my life has taken a turn. How can I adapt? How can I move on? How can I grow stronger? Um, so, like I said, I want to talk about energy, and I definitely think I was blessed to have good doctors that knew what they were doing, did their job to, I don't even know the right word for it, but they did their job very well. But on top of that, I just had like good energy surrounding me 24/7 during this rehabilitation process. And I think that that's almost just as important as the surgery itself because, yeah, the doctors know what they're doing, um, obviously. But like I said, it's a lot of uncertainty. Uncertainty. Like no one ever truly knows what's gonna happen with these types of things. And just like having those prayers, having, seeing that people really cared, seeing that love, it really makes a difference. Um, but not even that is what I really want to talk about. I'm truly and forever will be grateful for just the doctors and the people all involved in everything having to do with this year and me. Um, but what I really want to talk about is how did I get to this point of having an aneurysm? So I'll start by saying, if you know me, you probably know I'm a pretty healthy kid, pretty active. I love basketball, did a little bit of skating, um, just overall like pretty active kid. Never any serious injuries, never any serious like sicknesses. So this was kind of all a surprise when it hit the light. What most of you may not know though, what only like my closest friends that I talk to like every day would know is that I used to say um, the phrase, this shit's gonna give me an aneurysm. Um, Pretty much any time that, like it was petty little things, anytime that I was doing like a homework assignment that was harder than usual, or even just like playing video games, like if I was just sucking that day, like playing like absolute dog shit, I'd be like, oh fuck, this shit is giving me an aneurysm. And I don't know. You guys might not think that's like super important, super relevant, but looking back on just like this year and everything, like I've been so fascinated with the idea that something, a phrase I've said that at the time I knew very little, like I didn't know what an aneurysm was at the time when I was using this phrase. Like I had an idea, but I didn't really know. I never like looked into it. I was kind of just like, oh, uh, I could use that. Yeah, that's a funny phrase. um, but like I really didn't have a good understanding of what that meant. But anyways, like something, I just found it so fascinating that a phrase like that I had been using like kind of just like came to fruition one day. I think even like that day before I was in the hospital, one of my friends may remember me like saying that the day before, which is, I mean, for me it just goes to show like the power of your energy. Um, don't put shit out into the world that you don't want to come true. Don't put negativity out into the world because who knows how that's gonna come back to you. Um, I will say, like, ever since then, I've never used that phrase. Never, 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 never again. I am only using it for the purpose of this video now. I do, no, no. Um, I'm actually really careful with my words now. Um, what I mean by that is like, if I'm having an off day, thinking like negative thoughts, talking to myself, like, I'm just like very wise with what I say. If I say something and even like things like seemingly good, like, oh, I want to be rich, I'm just like super careful with how I phrase it. I kind of make sure that like I'm thorough. I think about what I'm saying now because yeah, maybe I'm just talking to myself, maybe it's just in my thoughts, but I really do believe that the energy you put out is what you will receive. Um, so yeah, if you got this far in this video, it's like a 12-minute video. High five. That that's respect. I don't know if I would even watch this video, but I'm making it. So um, I just have one piece of advice. Going into 2021, don't make New Year's resolutions. I'm sure a lot of us do it every year, but I'll be the first to admit, like, the longest I think I've kept up with a New Year's resolution is maybe 3 to 4 months. Maybe 6 months. 6 months if it was like an easy resolution that I was like, yeah, it's not going to take too much to follow through with this. But, like, I would be impressed if you all could tell me your last year's resolutions and tell me whether you um, did what you said you were going to do. Like, I'd be super impressed. But beyond that, I'm not here to bash people and like what they do. I'm here. I wanted to give you guys a piece of advice from myself. Maybe if you can't get rid of the New Year's resolution, maybe in addition to it, just like think about what energy you want from the universe next year. What do you want to come to fruition? Like, really think about it. Really be thoughtful with this. No bullshit. Don't like be like, oh, I want to get money fast. I want to get money fast. None of that. None of that. Really think about what you want. And then on top of that, think about how you can manifest that into reality in this next year. Um, that's my goal for you. I will be joining you. So if you wanna bounce ideas off one another, like I'm always down for that. But I think I'm gonna end the video here. 13:30 mark. If you watched all the way through, thank you. I appreciate that. Show love, like, comment, share with your friends. Let me know what you think.